What if you combined Axebane Guardian with Balustrade Spy? It's the hottest deck in Pauper right now. Spy Walls. Let's go check it out. This is Pauper Spy Walls, and this deck is relatively new. There's been variations like it previously, but this is the latest of the deck, and people seem to want it banned on Reddit. I've never played the deck before, so I don't have strong opinions. Today I'm looking to find out, should this deck be banned? That's the big question, and if you're unfamiliar with how the deck works, you're looking to play Balustrade Spy quickly. So it's a 3 and a black creature. When it enters, you mill target player until they hit a land. Well, you want to target yourself, but before you do so, you need to remove all 5 lands in your deck from the game. You have 4 forests and then 1 basic swamp. But then you have things like Land Grant, Gatekeeper Vine, which has Defender, which matters. In a minute, I'll tell you about why. And then you have things like Generous End, Troll of Khazad-dûm, and the Sagu Wildling to thin your deck of those 5 lands. So then you play the Balustrade Spy, you mill your entire library that has 40 creatures in it, and then you flashback Dread Return to return the Lotleth Giant in the graveyard to hit your opponent for 30 plus damage. Okay, so that's how the deck functions. And why would you need to play Walls? Walls is an archetype that cares about Defender. So you have Axebane Guardian and Overgrown Battlement that create tons of mana. But why do you need a ton of mana to ramp into a Balustrade Spy? Which is a very fair question. Well, it's more about the backup game plan. And if you're familiar with Walls, there's the combo build, but there's also just the large creature build that runs Annoyed Altasaur and Boarding Party. This is more like the latter, where you're looking to accelerate into your large creatures that are also part of your primary game plan. They thin your deck, but they're also the beatdown backup plan. So Generous End, Troll of Khazad-dûm, Sagu Wildling, and then just hard casting your Lotleth Giant. So if your opponent stops your primary game plan, you just have large beaters that are very efficient and powerful. So that's why this deck is so good, is that, yeah, it's a combo deck, but it has a very powerful back end or backup game plan. And that's why people seem to think that it should be banned. Do I believe it needs to be? I don't know. Probably not, but I'd like to find out. And if I'm wrong, it's good to educate myself. So that's the deck tech. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of this deck in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the first round. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw, and I've opened up a hand that does not have a land or a land grant in it. So unfortunately, we're going to have to mulligan to start out this video. Alright, going down to 6. And we have a land. It's not the forest, though. Like, we have the worst land in our hand. And you can't even cycle the Troll of Khazad-dûm for it, because there's only the 1 swamp. Is this a mulligan to 5? Probably. Bummer. Alright, so we have Land Grant. We'll keep this. Bottom the Dread Return that we don't really want anyway. And the Mass Vandal. This is actually a pretty good 5. Basic Mountain. Okay. We'll play the Land Grant. Pick up the Forest. Play the Forest. And I could play this really Caretaker, but it's not going to make mana next turn. So instead, I'm going to cycle the Generous End on the end step. And they Lightning Bolt my face. I go to 17. The opponent plays a Great Furnace. Okay. And a Ren's Resolve. Love to see that, because I don't really care about a Ren's Resolve. They reveal a Basic Mountain and a Voldaran Epicure. I will cycle the Generous End. So this will be 2 of the 5 lands out of the deck. So there's 2 more forests and the Basic Swamp. Masked Vandal. I could blow up their Great Furnace right now. Slow them down a little bit. I kind of like it. We'll play the Masked Vandal. I was going to Winding Way this turn. And then we exile the Generous End. Goodbye to your land. And what's nice about playing the Masked Vandal this turn is that it's a creature that either blocks or sacrifices later to Dread Return. And if it doesn't do those things, it eats a removal spell that would likely be damage at my face. So all in all, just wins across the board. And I'm guessing they play the Voldaran Epicure. They put me to 16. They have 1 land open. Gatekeeper Vine. Good draw. because now I can thin my deck of a land and play the Cerulean Caretaker. Yes. Okay, we'll grab the forest. Something that I realized when I was goldfishing this deck earlier, because I wanted a better feel for the deck, was that a couple times I didn't remove all of the lands. I just left one and then played the spy. And obviously it's not a deterministic kill, but more often than not, I found that it was just good enough at dealing 20 damage. I did it like 2 or 3 times. And except they lightning bolt the Cerulean Caretaker. Okay. And now they play a Reckless Impulse, Mountain, and a Lava Dart. I don't really care about Lava Dart here. You want to spend a land on a Gatekeeper Vine? Alright, they play Voldaren Epicure. Sure. Lotleth Giant. Let's play Winding Way. I'll say Creature. Mills over a Dread Return. And I hit double Gatekeeper Vine. So next turn I can thin out both lands. We'll pass. You might be saying, why not play the Lead the Stampede? Which is a fair question. I was hoping that I could hit one of my land cyclers and then thin the deck of a land this turn. That did not happen. If, hindsight, I had all the information, I would have played a Lead the Stampede there because I didn't benefit. But I was hoping for a higher upside play. They play Experimental Synthesizer and a Reckless Impulse. Okay. Another Lightning Bolt. And Goblin Tomb Raider. They play a land from hand. They Lava Dart me, I go to 14. I believe we're going to get this one. Winding Way. We'll play the Gatekeeper Vine. Yes. Search out the forest. Play the forest. And now we'll play the other Gatekeeper Vine. And now we search out the swamp. Yes. So you didn't really see much of the wall side this game, which, it's the backup plan, so it's not the end of the world. But the primary game plan, working on a mulligan to 5, which is pretty good. Like, we're at a healthy life total versus mono red when we mulligan to 5. So I think that's like part of the strength of this deck is you have a bunch of creatures to gum up the board, and you still accumulate some amount of value, whether you're destroying the lands with Mass Vandal or searching out lands with the Gatekeeper Vine, that sort of thing. They play the Goblin Tomb Raider, and they kill my Mass Vandal. Sure. I am not going to block. I'll take 4 down to 10. They have 3 cards, so I would lose if they had like double instant speed burn spell on my turn. Because I would play the Spy, and then they could kill 2 creatures, and I can't flash back the Dread Return. And now they chain lightning. So if they have like a Fire Blast or another Lightning Bolt, it would have to be the 4th Lightning Bolt. Or I guess another Lava Dart could do it. Ooh, they should have held the Lightning Bolt. That's the 4th Lightning Bolt. Sagu Wildling. That seems like a good one to just slam on the board. Let's play a big dragon. Boom. I'll go back up to 13 too. Pass the turn. They use the blood token. They discard a basic mountain. And another blood token discarding basic mountain. Looks like they're going to swing out. We'll block a Voldaren Epicure, block an Epicure. If they want to sacrifice a mountain to kill Gatekeeper Vine, I think I'm okay with that. They play a Lava Dart from hand. Okay. So they could sacrifice 2 mountains to kill the Sagu Wildling. And it looks like that's what they're going to do here. Sure. You have 1 card in hand, 3 damage on board. Alright, so they played their last card, which was another Voldaren Epicure. If I draw a land, I guess there's no more lands in the deck. Who am I kidding? I was thinking to myself, if I drew another land, which I don't have, but you could play the Spy and flash back the Acorn Harvest, but that's not an option. Okay, so I think I'll play Winding Way. We'll say creature. We hit 3. No, we hit 4 creatures. Wow. Okay, so I can play Overgrown Battlement, play the Aquarian Ranger, and then I can pick up a forest and replay it. Untap my Overgrown Battlement, play the forest, play Aquarian Ranger, pass the turn. Reckless Impulse, and that should be the ball game. I have the win. I'll block the Goblin Tomb Raider because it's free to do so. We'll play the Balustrade Spy, target myself. We have 31 creatures in the graveyard. We will Dread Return on the Lotleth Giant. Easy does it. Sweet. So we win game number 1. Switch this over to card view, which is what I prefer. I think we want the V2 Ghazi Inspectors because they're just creatures that gain life in the matchup. That seems pretty good. We definitely want Nylea's Disciple as well. The question is, what am I sideboarding out here? We're at 66 cards. I'm not really sure. Probably the Dimir Houseguard. I'm wondering about the Eggcorn Harvest because the game plan necessarily isn't to be a combo deck. And then maybe something like Lead the Stampede. But I don't know if Lead the Stampede gets better if you're boarding into the creature plan. I do think like Carrion Ranger isn't particularly good at versus Mono Red, especially when they're on Lava Darts. So maybe I'll cut all three of those and one Lead the Stampede. We'll try this. Game 2. We've opened up a wonderful hand. This hand is very good. So you don't have the Spy, but you do have a very fast Gitu I can't talk right now. Gitu Vazi Inspector, where you can play the Collect Evidence on turn 2. So you can put a 2/4 that gains 2 life into play on turn 2. And then on top of that, you might be able to Sagu Wildling later as a big dragon that gains life. So I like this hand. Keep. Turn 1 Great Furnace into Goblin Tomb Raider. Fast start from the opponent. We'll go to 18. Play the Forest. The Spy was a good draw. We'll pass. The opponent goes to combat. They attack for 2. We'll go to 16 life. They play a Mountain. They're very deliberate, taking a long time on this. They play a Thermal Alchemist. Sure. End step will cycle the Generous Ent. Grab a Forest. Another Spy. We didn't really need one of those. I'll play the V2 Ghazi Inspector. Exile the Generous Ent. And it triggers. So it's now a 2/4 and we're up to 18 life. They ping me, I go to 17. They have 4 cards in their hand currently. They play a Reckless Impulse, which reveals 2 mountains. Good for me. And they attack. I'll block. Like, if you want to spend a removal spell on this, I think I'm good with that. And they're going to Chain Lightning my V2 Ghazi Inspector. They ping me for an extra point of damage, but this V2 Ghazi Inspector traded with 2 spells here. And it gained me 2 life. Like, this card was incredible. We'll draw Winding Way. We'll cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Go grab the basic Swamp. Play the Swamp. And then we'll play Overgrown Battlement. They ping me on the end step. I go to 15. Back up to 3 cards in hand. And they can play the Mountain from exile. They play a Clockwork Percussionist. I don't care about that. They'll block. Or, I'm sorry. They'll attack and I'll block. Once again, if you would like to spend a burn spell on this, I consider that to be a win. And they do. Sure. Alright, they have 1 card left in their hand. Lead the Stampede. I think we will use the Sagu Wildling here. Go grab a Forest. We'll play it. And now the Axebane Guardian. On the end step, they can ping me down to 13 life. They're making 2 red. I'm not sure what they're trying to cast here. Apparently nothing. Sure. Suplex. Okay. That is a sorcery, so it explains why they couldn't play it on the end step. I'm at 12. They can attack for 1. I go to 11. They can ping me with the Alchemist, so that would put me to 10. An Overgrown Battlement. Let's play Winding Way. I'll say Creature. And I hit the 5th land in the deck. Okay, so that means that the Balustrade Spy, if I can play it with 2 other creatures in play, should be guaranteed lethal, as long as they don't kill one. Instead, they ping me to 10. They have 2 cards in their hand. They play land number 5 and a Goblin Tomb Raider, so I believe that's the game. I should be able to win on my turn. We'll block the Goblin Tomb Raider. So the Mass Vandal is a shapeshifter, which includes Defender, I believe. So we'll play the Mass Vandal. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Hit the Great Furnace. Exile Overgrown Battlement. Okay, it doesn't include it. I was wrong. So we'll just play Axebane Guardian here. Pass the turn. So the Thermal Alchemist will ping me down to 8. Ouch. Like, even if they drew Fire Blast here, Fire Blast would not be enough to stop me. So they would need like Reckless Impulse into Double Burn spell. So we'll block. Blocking in a way so that way they don't get the card off of Clockwork Percussionist. They ping me to 7. They have 1 card in hand. And their spell for the turn was Lava Dart. Okay. Don't think that matters here, but sure. I'm at 6, and then Lavadar can kill the Axebane Guardian, but that doesn't really matter here. Okay, so Axebane Guardian will die. They could ping me again with the Thermal Alchemist, but just does not matter. We drew one of the 2 copies of Dread Return. We'll play Balustrade Spy, target myself, and we will Dread Return the other Lotleth Giant. And our opponent will take 37 damage. That's just good, clean magic. We are 1-0 to start off this Pauper League. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. For round number 2, we've opened up a pretty good hand. We'll try this out. No clue what the opponent's playing. Basic Island into Delver of Secrets. Okay. We draw a land grant. So we'll play the first land grant, search out another forest, and let's just cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm now. And I want to keep the Generous Ent in hand because I could theoretically play that later on. The Delver of Secrets does not flip. They mental note. It's Island and Deem Inferior. I take 1, I'm at 19, and they missed their second land. Dimir Houseguard, so that can find me a spy later. We'll play the Overgrown Battlement, pass the turn. Delver of Secrets triggers. Does not flip. But they do find their second land, so that's probably a win for them. And they do not attack. We draw another Generous Ent. I would like to land grant. Is that okay? Apparently it is. Let's play Acorn Harvest. Pass the turn. They cycle a Lorien Revealed and Mental Note. Delver of Secrets. Does not flip again. Okay. They play land number 3. And now they Thought Scour themselves. Clarion Terror. And no attack. So they still have 1 open land. Mass Vandal. Not a good draw here. I am 1 mana short of casting a Generous Ent. And I have 2 spells in my hand that require double black. We'll flash back the Acorn Harvest. Cycle Generous Ent. This gets the 5th and final land out of the deck. And then we'll play Mass Vandal. Pass the turn. And step they Thought Scour. And now they finally flip the Delver. They have 5 cards in their hand. A Cryptic Serpent. And they attack. I will throw a Squirrel in front. We'll take 3 down to 13. Gatekeeper Vine is not a good draw. I think I'm going to just try to play Generous Ent. Also, the Dimir Houseguard looking very bad here. Like the fact that I just don't have double black to transmute. Okay, so they have land number 5. 4 cards in their hand. Deem Inferior on my Generous Ent. I think we just put it on the bottom. They're swinging. We'll block. And they're holding open Counterspell. So even if I draw the Spy, well, they're not holding open Counterspell now. Alright, Spy off the top. Nope. Okay. We'll play Cerulean Caretaker and Gatekeeper Vine. Yikes. I don't want to shuffle because I know the bottom card of the deck isn't something I want. Delver of Secrets triggers, and they reveal a Brainstorm. They play the Brainstorm, and another Delver of Secrets. There's 1 card in their hand. The problem is I'm dead on board. We'll gain 3. This puts me up to 12. I have to block. Okay, so I'll take 6. I go to 7. I need this 3rd Delver to not flip. Generous Ent. So I could play the Generous Ent, but I'm dead to Counterspell. I could transmute the Dimir Houseguard this turn, but it requires me getting rid of 2 blockers. Play the Generous Ent, and I think I just have to hope that it resolves. And it does. We'll use the food immediately, going back up to 10. Delver triggers. It flips to another Brainstorm. They play it. And that's not lethal. Oh no, this has escape, right? Okay, so they can escape it. So that is lethal. Bummer. They got me. We just couldn't find Spy. Dimir Houseguard not looking great. So the Scattershot Archer could kill Delvers, although you would have to untap it with a Kyrian Ranger. I think we probably want Mesmeric Fiend. The question is, do we want the... where is it? Masked Vandal. Maybe we'll board down to like 2 and keep a couple in case of emergencies. Get rid of the Dimir Houseguard. And then like 1 lead the Stampede versus the Spell Pierce deck. Alright, on the play. Sure, we'll play the Land Grant, grab a Forest, and then we'll play Cerulean Caretaker, which is pretty nice here because on turn 2 I can play the Kyrian Ranger, tap the Cerulean Caretaker for mana, and then untap it with the Ranger, and then pick up the Forest and replay it. They play a Ponder. I don't believe there's a way for me to get up to 3 mana on turn 2 for the Axebane Guardian. Generous End. So we'll just cycle this, and then we'll play the Kyrian Ranger this turn. Okay. Land number 2, and another Ponder. They're going to Sleep the Dead on my Cerulean Caretaker, which doesn't really matter here. So we'll tap for 2, untap the Cerulean Caretaker with the Kyrian Ranger, replay the land, and now we'll play Axebane Guardian, swing for 1. They cycle a Lorien Revealed, they play an untapped island, land. Let's play another Axebane Guardian. Let's see if this resolves. It does. So now we could tap this for 3 mana. We'll play Lead the Stampede. They counter spell. I can now untap Axebane Guardian. Play the... Well, apparently I've played a land, my bad. And now we will play another Lead the Stampede. And we get 4. Wow, this was a very good 4 too. Oh no, I didn't select the Overgrown Battlement. I thought I did. Whoops. That's on me. Hopefully that doesn't bite me in the butt. Alright, take 1 and like it. You're at 18. I swear I clicked the Overgrown Battlement, but I guess I'm wrong. That or I double-clicked. They cycle a Lorien Revealed, Tolarian Terror, Delver of Secrets, so I think we just win now. I don't think there's a 1-mana card that stops me here. Make a black. We'll play Mesmeric Fiend, just to make sure. Yeah, none of those cards matter. We'll make a bunch of black mana, untap Axebane Guardian, make some more mana, make some more mana, and we'll play Spy targeting myself. And then I can just cast Lotleth Giant. Boom. Alright, we win game number 2. Submit for game number 3. So on the draw, it's a little bit more dicey when you're the Land Grant deck facing the Spell Pierce deck. We don't have Land Grant, but we also don't have any lands at all, so we can't keep this. This is better. We'll bottom the Lotleth Giant. They play an island. We need to find the swamp here. That's my major concern. I'm going to try to keep this Land Grant hidden so that way they don't know what my hand is. We'll cycle Generous End. Grab a Forest. Overgrown Battlement. We'll play it. They use a counterspell. I think that's a good trade for me. And they miss their land drop. Another Spy. We'll cycle Generous End. And then let's play the Mass Vandal, just so that way I have a creature for Dread Return in play. They Thought Scour. It's a Sleep of the Dead. And now they cycle a Lorien Revealed. So they could play a large creature this turn. They don't. Oh no. We'll pay 2 mana for a Land Grant. I don't want to show my hand of uncastables. Okay, pass the turn. Little embarrassing here. I suppose I could have attacked, it just doesn't matter. The Mental Note hitting a Cryptic Serpent, and another Mental Note. There's a Tolarian Terror. They have 5 cards in hand. It's a Cerulean Caretaker that does make black mana, but it does not make black mana this turn. They play a Ponder. Land number 4, another Tolarian Terror. No blocks, we'll go to 15. They have 4 cards in their hand. Another Land Grant. So bad. We'll make a black. Play Mesmeric Fiend. They counter spell. So they actually have lethal if our opponent sees it. They can escape Sleep of the Dead on the Cerulean Caretaker. And then I don't have black mana to play the Spy. They have 1 card in hand. They swing, I go to 5. Okay. If it's a counter spell, I lose. Well, the Sagu Wildling finds the swamp, but I don't have enough mana to Mesmeric Fiend first. So the question is, did my opponent draw 3 copies of Counterspell this game? So I guess we'll go grab the Swamp. I guess I'm also dead to a Spell Pierce. Play Balustrade Spy. Target myself. We'll make a black. Dread Return on the Lotleth Giant, wherever you are. Okay. And they did, in fact, draw 3 copies of Counterspell. So I was a black mana or a mana short this entire game because of the double Mesmeric Fiend. That's a bummer. I felt like we were so close and we just couldn't find a swamp. Unfortunate. We're now 1-1.
Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game.
Round number 3, we're on the draw, and I've opened up a hand that has the basic swamp in it, but we don't have a land cycler. So this is the downside of playing multiple swamps. So we're playing a list with 4 forest and 1 swamp. Well, this is the downside, is that the swamp doesn't, if this was a forest, this hand is a snap keep. Unfortunately, I think you have to mulligan. Okay, so we have a 1-lander, but I can play Quirion Ranger and then turn 2 play Gatekeeper Vine. I think we keep this, and I'll get rid of the Lotleth Giant. They play a basic swamp. Ooh, we're playing the mirror match. Okay. And I think they have a better hand than I do. Alright, so we'll play the land grant, grab forest, and now we'll play Quirion Ranger. Pass the turn. Neither of us have the spy yet, which is a little bit of solace. Now they play the Gatekeeper Vine. We draw another Gatekeeper Vine. Pick up the forest, and we'll play it. Yes. Grab the swamp, I guess. Pass the turn. So I'm definitely at a disadvantage here. Being on the draw, but also not naturally having land number 2. So my hope here is that Lead the Stampede does not find Spy. Because if it finds Spy, I don't think I can win. They play the land, and Lead the Stampede. And they do find Spy. That is not good for me. Okay. We find another Axebane Guardian. Pick up the land. I think I'm going to play Axebane Guardian this turn. Oh no, I already played a land. I'm an idiot. That was a waste of mana. Because now next turn, I'm behind a land. Play the Gatekeeper Vine. I don't know why I did that. That was just dumb. I was thinking I could get ahead by playing the Axebane Guardian, but that's just not how it works. No excuses, just poor play. Alright, so I'm probably not winning this one. So they can use the Sagu Wildling. They find land number 4. The other Wildling can find number 5. And they have the creature. So I'm going to concede. We can just go to the next one. I wouldn't have been able to win even with them. Like, if I hadn't misplayed, I was still too far behind. So we'll bring in Fairy Macabre and Mesmeric Fiend. Get rid of the Masked Vandal. I think I'll get rid of the Dimir Houseguard. I'm actually not a big fan of this card. Requiring double black means that you need like an Axebane Guardian active for this card to be good. And I think I'll get rid of the Acorn Harvest. We'll try this. On the play. So we have the forest. I can cycle Generous Scent. We have Cerulean Caretaker. I think you're supposed to keep. It's not exciting, but it's fine enough. So the question is, are you supposed to play the Cerulean Caretaker on the first turn? Or do you just cycle Generous Scent? Because right now, I mean, I could also play Overgrown Battlement on the second turn, and then Gatekeeper Vine ramps you on turn 3. There's a couple different ways you could play this. Play the forest. I think I'm going to just pass. Because if I don't draw one of the 4 lands, or 3 land grants, so 7 hits, you're actually like setting yourself a turn behind. So I think you're supposed to cycle with the Generous Scent. They have Mesmeric Fiend and Spy. Ay. Okay. First turn's Cerulean Caretaker. Their hand is very good. We'll cycle the Generous Scent. Grab a forest. Play the Overgrown Battlement. Pass the turn. They play a Jack-o'-lantern. Okay. We will play the Gatekeeper Vine. Yes. This grabs forest. Play the forest. And now Cerulean Caretaker is my 3rd defender. We'll tap the Overgrown Battlement for 3 green, and then play Lead the Stampede. And that's 5. Boom. Okay. So I'm going to take all 5 and then just discard to hand size the Dread Return. They play an Elven Farsight. Okay, well I guess I got lucky that our opponent just never found the second land. We should be able to win here. We'll use the Sagu Wildling to search out the swamp. Cycle Generous End. So this makes 3. 4, 5, 6. So I have enough mana. No, never mind. I mean, I would lose if one of their draws was a Fairy Macabre, but I don't believe it was. I'm just going to jam. Target myself. And they concede. Okay. On the draw for game number 3. Hit submit. Ooh. Okay, so we have the Fairy Macabre, but I would have to show it to the opponent. And this hand doesn't have a second land. So this is what our opponent kept last game where they did nothing and lost. Because I don't have a cycler. And I have no way of making a mana for turn 2. It might be crazy, but I kind of want to mulligan this. We'll go to 6. Keep bottom the Lotleth Giant. They have a first turn land grant. They have a spy. Okay. I need to draw a Fairy Macabre. We'll play Quirion Ranger. Pass. They have Wall of Roots. Pick up the forest, replay the forest, and I think I'm going to play Overgrown Battlement here. Pass. They play Winding Way. Okay, so they can... Depends on what our opponent wants to do here, but they could try to spy and then cast Giant from hand to beat the Fairy Macabres they saw. And now they're going to clean up. And they discard 2 copies of Winding Way. We find a Sagu Wildling. So I think we'll untap the Overgrown Battlement, pick up the forest, replay it, play an Axebane Guardian, play a Gatekeeper Vine, yes, grab a forest, pass the turn. They play a Gatekeeper Vine, sure. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. It's Gate Creeper. I've been saying Keeper. Whoops. Now they play an Overgrown Battlement. I'm sure there's going to be some comments about that, but oh well. Reading Comprehension. We find a Generous End. My draws have not been great. We'll play a Gate Creeper Vine. Grab the Swamp, I suppose. Tap this for some mana, 4 mana. We'll search out a forest. And then cycle the Generous End. Pass the turn. I'm just waiting on something that does something here. They play an Overgrown Battlement. So the Battlement now taps for 4 mana, and then Wall of Roots could be 5 mana. Swamp would be 6. We have 4 Spies, 4 Winding Way, 4 Lead the Stampede I would like to draw into. Our opponent plays Lead the Stampede. Okay, so we know that they still have Balustrade Spy, 1 copy of Sagu Wildling in their hand, and a Lotleth Giant. They find Mesmeric Fiend, which I was not hoping for, because now they can see that my hand is nothing. They cycle Generous End. So that's the 4th land. Okay, you can see that my hand is just blank cards. And then they play Jack-o'-lantern. So this is what actually stopped me from winning. Because they have the Wall of Roots. Well, I suppose I could... Okay, if I drew a spy, I could double Dread Return. That's how I would beat the Jack-o'-lantern. But we don't draw the spy. And we're just dead. Okay, so that's a bummer. They play another Overgrown Battlement. And now the Balustrade Spy. Ah, and they're going to deck me. They should have done that last turn. Yeah, I guess that's a smart thing to do in the mirror. I did not consider that. That's pretty clever. I mean, they could have decked me last turn and they didn't. Okay. They got it. So we're now 1-2.
The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly.
Alright, let's try to bounce back in the 4th match. We are on the play. Brutal. Once again, this hand having a swamp means that it's a mulligan. Okay, sending it back. This hand has no lands. We'll go to 5. Another no lander. We'll go to 4. I suppose we keep this. Okay, here's our 4. Play land grant. So it's weird to me, and, people are allowed to disagree, but everyone likes to pretend, at least on Reddit or, what you see on social media, that this deck is so consistent, or at least that's what I was reading. It was a turn 4 win every game. And, that hasn't been my experience so far, I will say that. But also, they're like, well, you have Mesmeric Fiend and Mass Vandal. Sure, but you're giving your opponent more time to find hate. And no one seems to like the Turbo Spy builds, but I think the Turbo Spy builds are probably better than this. And it's not just me being a hater, it's just that you could choose to answer everything, or you can choose to win quickly before they could have their hate. And I feel like winning quickly would probably just be more efficient, because this deck seems to have a bunch of mana issues. Play another Gate Creeper Vine. Okay, pass the turn. Ichor Wellspring. And a third bridge. Overgrown Battlement. Let's play a Winding Way. Creature. A pickup of 4. I'll play Overgrown Battlement. Pass the turn. They play another Ichor Wellspring. And now they're going to clean up. Interesting. Axebane Guardian was the draw. We'll play another Gate Creeper Vine. This will find the 5th and final land. Yes. Okay. Let's play Cerulean Caretaker because it is another creature with Defender. Tap the Overgrown Battlement. And now we have 5 green. Play the Winding Way. We'll say Creature. We found Spy. Let's play it. Target myself. And now we Dread Return. Okay, and they just concede. I mean, our opponent kept a hand that did not do anything. So, I mean, mulligan to 4 and winning on turn 5 is not bad. I won't pretend that it is. But our opponent also just did nothing. Here, I don't believe we even sideboard. We just resubmit versus the Jund Wildfires deck. This 7 is pretty good. We will keep turn 1 Swamp and Duress. Swing and a miss. Nice card. Does it come in playable? Alright, so I will play the Forest, and I think we'll just cycle on the end step. You did not keep a 1-land hand with Duress. Come on. I mean, maybe they have a Fairy Macabre or something. Maybe that's a reason I should have boarded it in the, what is it called? The Mesmeric Fiend. Let's play Overgrown Battlement. Pass the turn. Vault of Whispers. And they cast down. I will cycle the Troll of Khazad-dûm, and I think I'm going to destroy their land here with the Mass Vandal. Okay. Exile the Overgrown Battlement. Pass the turn. Another copy of Duress. Well, I've drawn 2 spells since then, so it actually hits something this time. And they play a bridge. So they drew a land. Another Mass Vandal. We'll play the Cerulean Caretaker. And let's exile your bridge. I'm just playing Ponza. Let's go. And now I'll show them who the beatdown is. Swing. They play a 3rd copy of Duress. Okay. And a Bojuka Bog. We'll play the Gate Creeper Vine. Yes. Grab a Forest. And then we'll play the Axebane Guardian. Swing, swing. They cast down on the Axebane Guardian. I mean, I could just try to win here. We should probably just play Lead the Stampede. And I think I'm going to leave the Giant in the deck. And then we'll use the Sagu Wildling to pull out the 5th and final land. Play the other Gate Creeper Vine. And then we'll attack for 2. Swing, batter, batter, swing. They play Swamp. Okay, still have 3 cards in their hand. We'll just play the Sagu Wildling. So I think how I lose this game is that I deck myself and then lose to Fairy Macabre. When they're so far behind, I think I just want to be beating down. If I get put in a situation where I'm forced to try to win, then yeah, let's go for it. But I don't want to lose to a Fairy Macabre, so I'm going to just play this a little more safely. Swing. They're at 8. We'll play Winding Way. Creature. I have both Giants in my hand, just as we drew it up. I will play Cerulean Caretaker and pass. And the opponent just concedes the match. I'll take it. We're 2-2. We got to win, even on a mulligan to 4. Pretty impressive. Let's go try to get match number 5.
With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week?
The fifth and final round, we're on the draw. No lands, no keeps. Mulligan. Okay, we'll try this. Get rid of Lead the Stampede. They play a turn 1 bridge. And we'll pass. Vault of Whispers. Black Mage's Rod. We will cycle the Generous Ent. Grab a Forest. You have a Black Mage's Rod. We'll play Overgrown Battlement. Pass the turn. They play Duress. This will discard Winding Way. But that's not really the end of the world here. Like, I think that's fine. Alright, Winding Way to the graveyard. Refurbished Familiar. That's a little annoying. I think we get rid of the Cerulean Caretaker. We'll block. We draw Winding Way. Let's cycle the Troll of Khazad-dûm. Go grab the Swamp. Use the Sagu Wildling to go search out a forest. Okay, and now we can Winding Way. We'll say Creature. Pass the turn. They have 2 mana here for a Fanatical Offering. And they play a Bridge. So I believe we can try to win here. We drew Masked Vandal, so I could play the Overgrown Battlement. This has for 2. And then I could play the Spy. Alternatively, I could wait a turn and have a guaranteed win. Okay, we'll play the Masked Vandal. Exile a Bridge. Okay, pass the turn. They play another copy of Fanatical Offering. Blood Fountain, sure. They attack, I'll go to 14. End step, cycle the Generous Ent. Okay. So I could have risked it last turn, but I was asking myself, like, what's the advantage? And I don't really feel like there was an advantage, so that's why I chose to wait. Target myself. And now we'll play Dread Return on the Lotleth Giant, wherever it might be. Okay, and we're off to game number 2. I think I'll bring in some number of Mesmeric Fiends this time, just to make sure I don't lose to Fairy Macabre. The question is, what do we board out? I'm thinking that it's probably the Aquarian Rangers. And Dimir Houseguard. I think if I was to play this deck again, I would not play the Dimir Houseguard. It was in a list that I saw that was doing well, but I think the card is kind of just poopy because you can really only activate it if you have Axebane Guardian going. This is fine, we'll keep. Turn 1 Vault of Whispers and a Blood Fountain. So if I play this Cerulean Caretaker on 1, I don't think it works how I want, so I'm going to just pass. Refurbished Familiar. Okay. Discard Lead the Stampede. And you might be asking why. It's because my hand doesn't have any other duress targets, and I already have the Balustrade Spy. So, like, what am I really looking for? We'll grab a Forest. Another Masked Vandal. We'll play it. Hit their bridge. Exile the Generous Ent. Pass the turn. They play a Tree of Tales and a Black Mage's Rod. Okay, I'll take 2 down to 18. We'll use the Sagu Wildling. Grab the Swamp. Use the other Sagu Wildling. We'll grab a Forest. And then we'll play Cerulean Caretaker. They play a basic Swamp, so they now have access to Snuff Out or other removal. Gate Creeper Vine. Play the Swamp. We'll play the Gate Creeper Vine. Yes. This grabs the final land. And then we'll play Axebane Guardian. Pass the turn. They play a bridge, sure. And now they swing, we go to 14. 3 cards still in their hand. Another Cerulean Caretaker. We'll play the Cerulean Caretaker. Play Masked Vandal. We have 6 creatures in play right now. I think I'm going to just go for broke, because I'm willing to bet that they're sitting on creature removal and not Graveyard Hate. I could be wrong. If it is Graveyard Hate, you got me. But I think I'm going to just jam the Spy. We'll tap the Axebane Guardian and play Balustrade Spy. Target myself. And we will Dread Return on the Lotleth Giant. Crypt Incursion? Yep, okay. So we'll go to the next one. I thought there was a chance with them holding open 3 mana, that's what they had. But it felt like all they had was removal. So I was wrong. And we'll just go to game 3. On the play. Cannot keep. Mulligan. I mean, if you can draw The second mana source, this hand is good. Is it though? You have no way to even search. I think you're supposed to go to 5. Nope. Down to 4. Okay, so Acorn Harvest, Axebane Guardian, and lead the Stampede. Play the Forest. Play Land Grant. Pass the turn. Both of Whispers and Duress. Sure. We draw Overgrown Battlement, we'll play it. Black Mage's Rod and Spy. Doesn't do me any favors here. Mirror Enforcer, okay. Can't even play the Acorn Harvest, I have to pass. We'll block the Black Mage's Rod and take 4 down to 16. Another Spy, pass the turn. They play a Reckoner's Bargain. And a land. Another copy of Black Mage's Rod. Ichor Wellspring, I take 2. And now I'll block and take 4 down to 8. I'm running out of time here. Any non-creature spell kills me next turn. Okay, well that was the league. I guess you could blame it on me being impatient in game number 2 in this match. But I don't think it's reasonable to just sit there when my only card in hand is Spy. Like, you're just giving your opponent more and more opportunities to draw into what they need. So I decided to take a calculated risk and it didn't pay off. Overall, I'm not even convinced this deck is that good. Like, obviously 2-3 is not the best record, but people are talking about this deck like it needed to be banned yesterday. And I'm not convinced that's the truth. I'm not even sure what this deck actually does better than the version I played a few weeks ago. With like Sakura Tribe Elder and all of those cards, because my thing is, like, I don't think the walls aspect of the deck is actually that powerful. Like, yeah, you could play Generous Center Lotleth Giant, but you could have done that in the previous version too. So the deck's okay. I don't think there's any banning that's necessary here. If you feel different, tell me why, or tell me what I'm not seeing that everyone else is. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming.
I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. After you do that, open up our description where you can find all of our social media networks, including our Discord, where you can discuss today's deck in that Discord with me and tons of other combo masterminds. It's absolutely free to join, and it's certainly worth your while.